so hear me out. Do you remember that feeling we had as kids when we'd be pissed off at something that happened at home, where we'd let this anger build up and fester until it came across our minds that running away from home was the best answer? So that whole process is similar to my belief and my philosophy in how people go about making a real change and making a difference in their own lives. For me personally, I've experienced this a couple times in dealing with my social media addiction, getting into the gym, and I'm feeling it right now with my inability to start my business. So generally the first step in making a difference in anything or making any type of change is recognizing a problem and the need to resolve it and fix that issue. When it comes to social media, I recognize that my behavior, my consumption, and my use of the technology is not beneficial to my life and has become toxic in a sense that I'm wasting a lot of time that I could be using being productive rather than sitting on social media just scrolling through random videos or whatever. So after I've had that realization of I know that social media is bad, I need to cut it out of my life, for some reason I still continue to use it while understanding that it's bad for me. And I don't, I guess, have the willpower or the strength to just cut it out as soon as I recognize that it's an issue, which I guess is an issue in and of itself. But eventually, as I continue to stay on social media or continue a toxic habit, and I still realize that it's detrimental to my life, I get in a sort of cycle where I'm pissed at myself for continuing to do the bad habit, but I still continue to do the bad habit regardless, even though I know it's bad for me. I think it just comes to a point eventually where all that anger just builds up until I'm forced to make a change in my life, and I have no other option but to do whatever's hard and cut off the bad habit. This happened to me a couple times where I found myself scrolling through social media for hours and hours through pointless content that provides no value to my life. And then eventually I'll just have the courage somehow, after like weeks or days or months of me getting upset at me continuing to use social media for hours, by just cutting it off. I delete my Instagram app, or I'll delete Snapchat, or I'll delete TikTok, whatever it is, I'll delete YouTube. And from that point on, it still gets tough to resist the urges to go like re-download the app and check up on whatever I was missing, which generally turns out to be not that much. So I guess just getting to that point of enough frustration builds up where we decide to run away from home, or where I decide to delete my Instagram. Getting to that point is just so difficult. I get stuck in that loop and that cycle of being pissed at myself for continuing a bad habit, but then still continuing to do the bad habit, regardless of the fact that I know it's hurting me. The same could be said about going to the gym, but this is more for a positive habit. So when I looked in the mirror at myself and I wasn't happy with how I looked, it took a little bit for me to take that disgust, I guess, and turn it into me actually going to the gym. And I guess it's just, like I said, that anger builds up at how I looked at myself until I decided to finally make a change and go to the gym and work on it consistently to the point where I've built a body that I'm proud of and that I like seeing when I look in the mirror. And now I'm experiencing a similar kind of cycle in trying to start my own business. Now, this is definitely tough because nobody is telling me what to do. Like when you go to your job, your 9 to 5, your boss is telling you you need to be in at a certain time, you need to do this task specifically, gotta take out the trash, whatever it may be. But when you're trying to work for yourself, nobody's telling you what to do. So I'm finding it tough to keep myself accountable, tell myself what to do so that I have something to work on rather than wasting my time doing pointless things like, again, going back to social media, when instead of doing product research, I'm actually just sitting there scrolling through random content that I shouldn't be. It's definitely a tough cycle to get out of, but again, once that kind of anger just builds up and forces me to take action, I think that's one of the best sparks in making change in your life. But I feel like I don't have the time to wait for that anger to build up. I need to just take action now. A lot of this comes down to just being self-disciplined and having the drive to achieve the goals that you set out for yourself. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.